This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. Check out the link in the video description below to get to their website and check out their latest products. Trust me, you do not want to miss them.
What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another edition of the Transfer View. We are back. It is Tuesday, the 16th of January, and there's plenty to get into this morning, certainly when it comes to the world of Manchester United. We've got inquiries, we've got targets, we've got summer transfer plans as well. We've got a bit of an update when it comes to Sir Jim Ratcliffe meeting with some fan representatives or some fan groups yesterday as well. I'll let you know the details behind that. Also, I guess not Man United related per se, but related in the sense of he used to manage Manchester United, Jose Mourinho. Yeah, Jose Mourinho sacked as the Roma manager, or Roma head coach. I don't know officially what his title was. But yes, Jose let go this morning. And I've already started to see some other people give it, Jose in! Bring Jose, get him in! Completely oblivious to the job that he's been doing at Roma, or the job, rather, I suppose, that he hasn't been doing as AS Roma head coach, to be honest with you. Because if you actually look at Jose's record in as the Roma head coach, it's not good. Like it's not great. I was just chatting to a few friends of mine, but as I was setting up the show, and they were going, now people are going to be like, get Jose back to the Premier League, get Jose back. And if you look at his record at Roma, first season they came 6th, but they won the Conference League. I mean, it sounds very similar to Man United, doesn't it? But first season came 6th, won the Conference League. Second season, where did they finish? They finished 6th. Again, they got to the Europa League final. And currently in Serie A, they're 9th. And you want to look at some of the players that he's brought in. He's got Lukaku, he's got Dybala, he brought in Tammy Abraham as well. Like, it shouldn't be good. I think, as Skiliano says here in the chat here, his next job might be the Portugal manager job. We'll see how the Euros goes for Roberto Martinez, right? See how the Euros goes for Martinez this coming summer. If they don't go well, then maybe he'll end up going there. But yes, a bit of Jose news, a bit of United ghosts of managerial past or something like that, certainly. But how's everybody doing? Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know how the weather is where you are as well. We should, by the way, have Flex joining us at some point this morning. He's going to be joining us a little bit later on. So I don't know when, but he'll be coming in later on. So he will be joining us as well. But let me know where you're watching from. Click the like button and let me know what the weather's like where you are too. It's brisk. Very brisk here in the UK this morning. Depending on where you are in the UK, actually, there's quite a bit of snow as well. I got a message from my dad being like, "Snow in. It's snowing, Owen." That rhymes as well. So yeah, let me know where you're watching from. For instance, Wayne says, "Look, snowing in Blackburn." See, very cold at the moment. I think Taberslow might have us all beat. He says Norway, Oslo, 26 minus. It's a bit cold, that, isn't it? That is cold. That is cold. Set it off sounds to snow in Northampton. Yes. I remember when I was a wee boy and used to wake up and there would be snow, turn on the radio or go onto the website of your school, see if the school was shut down for the day, get in, do all that kind of stuff. John James is snowing in Manchester. Celestine says, watching from Finland. And the temperature is minus 19, and the real feel is minus 28 degrees. So this is why I love asking that question. I love asking that question about where you're watching from, what the weather's like, because you get answers like that. We've got Finland and Norway in the house. Yes. And as Jim Wilson said, still a wee boy. Thank you very much. Yeah, never grow up. Never grow up at all. Anyway, we've got plenty to get into this morning. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Araujo from Barcelona, because there have been inquiries made. We might be competing with Bayern Munich for him come the summer. Joshua Zirkzee as well, reportedly. He's a target. A bit of an update on Matthijs de Ligt as well. Erik ten Hag going to be circling back to a player he had at Ajax previously. Shock horror, I know. So a bit about him. Also, as I mentioned, an update as to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He had this meeting yesterday with quite a few different people, actually. Some different fan representatives, fan groups. I think he spoke to Must. He also spoke to some people in the sort of Greater Manchester and Trafford local community to talk about the potential redevelopment of Old Trafford as well. So there is plenty to get into this morning. But let's start off talking about Araujo. Now, someone will let me know in the chat if my pronunciation is wrong with his name, because Araujo's got one of those names where I go, I don't know if that's right. So if I'm wrong with that, you can let me know with the pronunciation. But yes, let's get straight into it. So this came from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports there in Germany, who said, news, Ronald Araujo, Manchester United have inquired about the 24-year-old. Manchester United informed about the transfer fee and contract details. They've received the same information as Bayern, because Bayern Munich are reportedly interested in the player as well. The transfer package in the winter could be over 80 million euros, and Araujo wants to stay in Barca in the winter. Not that United were going to get him in the winter, because we're not going to get anyone in the winter, apart from maybe a very cut price loan for a striker, senior striker, something like that. But he remains on the list of Manchester United for the summer. He remains the top target for Bayern, as Tuchel loves the player. So even if we were to be going in for him come the summer, it would appear certainly that he would be, we'd have competition certainly for Araujo. Now, just once again, just to go over some of those statistics that he spoke about there previously. He's 24 from Barcelona centre-back, but that price, 80 million euros plus. Now, they're not saying, he'd be available for 80 million. They're saying it would be over 80 million euros if indeed we were to make a move for the player come the summer. Let me know in the chat your feeling about this one. Let me know your feelings in the chat about this, because look, I mentioned this was it yesterday during the full view or in the transfer view? I forget when it was. They all bleed into one. But this coming summer is going to be massive for Manchester United, isn't it? It's going to be huge, and there's going to be so much scrutiny on it as well. Because, I mean, historically, we spend a lot of money in the summer transfer windows anyway. Like even last year, despite the FFP restrictions that we did have, we still managed to spend a lot of money. But also, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on it, because historically, we're not good. We're not good in the summer transfer market anyway. I mean, I think if you want to really look back on it, this past year's summer transfer window the worst that we've had in recent history? I mean, I know some people will probably point to that COVID one. It wasn't in the summer, it was in October, but it was technically counted as a summer transfer window where we got we were going after Sancho and we didn't get him, and we end up with Cavani and Donny and Ahmad and Palestri. That was up there, but I guess it's that doesn't count, because nothing counts during that period of time in the world. But it's right up there, isn't it? This past year's summer transfer window, isn't it? Lil Yo says, the Fred and Dallo one was the worst. That was true. That was Jose's last season, wasn't it? When all of these people we were linked to, we just didn't get anyone. We just got Fred and Dallo. But this past summer, it is right up there. I think for the amount of money spent as well. And then, the one that's worked the most is Johnny Evans. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. So to circle back to Araujo, the reason why there's going to be so much scrutiny in the summer is just because, it's the first one under Ineos as well, and there's going to be this expectation that, these people are going to be in charge that know what they're doing when it comes to not only identifying targets, but also when it comes to spending money wisely. And actually, as I always say about transfer windows, it's not just about incomings, it's about outgoings as well. So that's going to be the key thing too. Can United actually successfully move some people out of the club for decent money to put back in when we're going for signings? So you have to be cognizant and weary that because there is so much scrutiny and pressure on it, we're going to be linked with everyone and anyone, because we always are. There is just something in me, maybe it's just, again, sort of a recency thing, that, you know, a player from a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, like a big club for big money, 80 million euros plus, that's always just a bit of a concern of mine. I always feel like could always be doomed to fail. And it would appear that it's not going to be, he's not the only centre-back that we're being linked to either as well. So I don't know. You can let me know in the chat about what you think about that one. But that is coming from Florian Plettenberg, as I mentioned, from Sky Sports in Germany at the moment, suggesting that, yes, we have been linked to him. But that price, 80 plus million euros, as I mentioned, not just like, oh, it's going to be, it'll be available for 80. No, they're saying 80 plus million euros is what they'd be looking for that. So it's a lot of money. It would appear, I did promise this earlier on. I said Fleck is going to be joining us. I said Fleck is going to be arriving. Some people don't believe me. I've been known to tell a lie or two when it comes to United View. But Fleck is here. Fleck, can you hear me?
Of course I can, mate. If you think there's a problem with my technology or something where I just can't hear or see you or something.
No. And I tell you what, that was a pretty smooth transition that we just did there. That was not bad
what
going.
Happens when I need to, get things plugged in and jump in. I get things done.
Yeah, easy. I forgot to say as well, by the way, because I was so wrapped up in the weather, this show is brought to you by Cracks Only, which is a big LA-based brand. You can get Flex? You can get your shirts, your hoodies, your apparel. MLS players in the United States, they're wearing it.
Training gear. Yeah.
Training gear, all of the above. So we appreciate them supporting the channel and supporting this stream and bringing it to you. But Flex, how you doing, mate? Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, peeps. How we all doing? Mod's just doing what they do best. Okay, cool. George says Flecknology working off the bat. Exactly. That's what it is. Just seamless transitions, man. But no, all good. I see there's a lot of transfer speculation, some big names, mainly for the summer. Stuff about Sir Jim as well, meetings. A lot to discuss this morning. What's the main bit you spoke about was the Araujo inquiry, basically. You just kind of finished that off. You're on mute, mate.
It's cheat. I'm moving too many things. Wow. I'm moving too many things.
Would you know what it is as well? OWEN-nology?
You know what it is as well? When you can see the little bars going up and down with the sound. I saw it. I went, my sound's not coming out. And I just carried on talking. I knew it wasn't going on. I just thought I'd keep talking. But yes, they're saying that United are interested, but not going to happen in the winter. Nothing's going to happen in the winter when it comes to United. But they're suggesting 80 million euros plus it would cost. How are you feeling about that price tag?
Yeah, it's a lot. He's good though. He's good, but it's a lot of money. I mean, it just depends how we want to play this really and where we are at, because the alarm bells would be there again, wouldn't they? Let's be honest, of 80, 90, 100, like big signings like that. To be honest, I want us to avoid that. We still believe we're the Man United, right? So when you still believe you're the Man United, it's like, well, of course we can get someone like that from Barcelona and he should feel like he could come and play for Man United. But those big price tags and those big players who've got reputations and then, you get fleeced and pay big money for quality. We've been stung so bad. So bad. I would prefer us, and I would prefer our strategy, and I hope Ineos' strategy is to more find the players who haven't hit the heights yet and develop them into the players that can be world-class / I'll end up being world-class with us. That's ideally what I would like us to do. 40, 50 million. All the other teams are doing it. And Man City even do it. So there's no Liverpool do it all the time. So clearly what we're seeing in like the transfers now is we're the stupid ones who still spend 70 million on Casemiro or 80 million on Anthony and then scratch our heads. So I don't really want us to buy the ready-made. I mean, when Liverpool got Konate, now how much did he go for? That would have been about 40.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, you
know,
this was what I was saying is you
I
don't.
just-
we have. It's almost like PTSD, isn't it? With signing a
Yeah.
player from a big club for a big price. I don't know. It almost doesn't feel very Ineos-like, does it? In the sense of, I was always under the impression that they're looking for the up and comer, the player, like you say, that's at like a top sort of 6 club in their respective leagues that's ready for the next step. That we
Well,
then
it's like what
develop
Jean-Claude
into an 8
Todibo
million project.
is.
Yes,
That's
yes,
ilk. Like,
yes, exactly.
he might not be as good as Araujo now. Araujo is good. I've seen him firsthand when he played against us last year. And he is good. He's very good. But why can't we get the one who's, like you said, sort of in the middle of that, and he's on his way to being something like that? That's what I would prefer. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, he's 24, so he's a fantastic age profile. He's aggressive, he's powerful, he's quick, he's good on the ball. I like him in duels. Like, he is the, like, stylistically what we need. Absolutely, I wouldn't be angry if we got him. But because he's already at Barca,
quite a bit for Barca as well.
100%, he's a leader, But he's not going to come cheap. He's played at Barcelona. He's played at the top level. He's playing at the top level. Huge club, and he's an integral part of that. He's not just some young kid coming through the ranks at Barca who hardly plays. He's a big part of them, and so to get him will cost a big outlay. And I just think we need to be more astute. We need to, if we get to the summer and straight away put 80 million on Araujo, let's be honest, we're going to know that's a big chunk of our budget already gone, when really we should. Where's the centre back who's young, up and coming, maybe a little bit younger than him, maybe say 21, 22, who costs half the price of him?
Well, and also as well, and this is kind of the point that Florian Plettenberg is saying in his report, is like, Bayern really want him. So if Bayern want him, then you get into the territory of, okay, well, we're not going to have Champions League football next season. So how do we convince? We've done this. How do we convince this player at a big European side to come to us when we don't have European football and we're not great at the moment? And it goes back to got to give them some money, and then you get into the territory of big wages. Are they really committed? So, and it's not and whenever you have this conversation, then people will start to respect. You really turn your nose up at like someone come from Barcelona to United.
Yeah,
and you go,
it's not that.
It's not about the player quality. It's, once again, everything circles back to recruitment. Is this really the right move for us to do? Is this one going to be dragged out? Barca need the money, so they're going to negotiate a hard bargain. Do we really want to get into bed with Barcelona again after all of that kind of stuff before? Or do we want to go for, like you say, a younger centre back, cost a bit less? We can hopefully develop him into a better player, and also we can get it done earlier. We're not dragged out until August or sort of late July going, oh, is he going to be coming in? Like, what's going to be happening with him? All that kind of stuff. So it's not to say like, oh, no, thank you. But it's kind of like, do we really want to be doing this again? It feels very like alarm bells are ringing in my head when I hear and see this.
Exactly, and that's the thing that we have to try to avoid. We've got to, if we want to change that would be doing the same strategy we always do. The only difference that it would be, to be fair, if we did sign him for big money, would be that he is young, like he's 24, and he's still on the ascendancy. You wouldn't say he's reached his peak. You wouldn't say he's on his way down. We've seen the best of him. You would say, if you are going to pay 80 million, you would want it to be someone in the ascendancy and has a lot to give you. And he's only 24. So that I agree with. But in terms of us, like spending all this money that we spent, for us to want to just go in straight away, first big transfer window, I know, let's get a player for 80 million. Well, we're already not really trying to undo what we've done then, are we? Because that's exactly what we do. Even if he is good. Do you know what I mean? Pogba was good when we got him for 90. Lukaku was good when we got him for 70, 80. Like,
well, and also, if Florian Plettenberg says that Bayern want him, yeah. And if Araujo's interested in going to Bayern, and Florian Plettenberg be like, fine, let's just say United are interested. Let's get this one moving a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it. I gotta be honest. I really don't see this one. I see it as like, you know, some fans will get excited because it's a big name getting linked to United, but I'd be very surprised if come the end of the next summer transfer window it closes, we have Ronald Araujo in a Man United shirt. I don't see that one happening, to be honest with you.
No, I mean a lot can happen between now and then. I mean it's not even the summer
Anything's
window
possible.
yet. Anything is possible, and we have no idea how Ineos are going to move with what they want to do. But I'm with you. I just to go that big of that sort of star name instantly. It does follow the thing of wanting to rebuild with younger players. It does because he is young. 24 is young. But no, I think younger. I think.
But it does appear to be a list. There does appear to be a list. We'll get to this a bit later on because Ligt and over the last few days, there certainly has been. We're starting to get linked to a lot of people where they go, definitely not now, but in the summer, it would appear that Ineos and all of those people are drawing up a list. I find it interesting that we don't have technically a sporting director yet and a head of recruitment. So how that list would work, unless they're just sort of, you know, working with the people that are there existingly at the moment, like a John Murta and there's recruitment department going, what's your list kind of looking like? And then maybe we can sort of tick or cross people off that. But seemingly the due diligence has started for the summer, which, you know, I'm not opposed to that. I'm all for a bit of planning.
Draw up your list.
You know?
Absolutely. That's the thing. We think what was the planning? The types of players we end up with and how much we spend on them, we often are left scratching our heads saying, what on earth was the planning? How did this happen? And then we quickly realize it's panic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Casemiro, Anthony. And then on top of that, when it gets worse is when we get to like the summer we just had, which I think you were saying it. Was it on the Full View last night or was it on the Transfer View in the morning? When you was like, we've just had a rubbish window when you look back. Like what? Yeah. Like what did we just do?
I was saying earlier on, for me, it's right up there with like the worst ever. You know, some people are sort of going...
That's mad, you know, because we thought it was a really good window. We addressed 3 areas we want. Goalkeeper, midfielder, striker, long-term striker. And it's like, yeah, you're right.
I think Leo said the Fred and Dallo year, you know, Jose's last season when he wanted people and basically didn't get anyone. No, that was a bad summer. And that was when the window shut before the first game of the season, you know, and they had that few years when they're like, it's not fair to have that speculation. So we're going to shut early, even though no one else around Europe is going to shut early, and it puts everyone under pressure.
What was the one where we got Lee Grant and Thing?
That was the same year.
Was that?
I think that's
I'll tell you what, the bad one was when we got Cavani.
I said that too. I said that. But it almost doesn't count.
And Palestri, I think
it almost doesn't count because it's like pandemic sort of time, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And yeah, but I'm with you.
Other teams did all right. Didn't Liverpool go and get Jota and Thiago in that same window?
It's in that territory. It's in that territory. But maybe this one's worse because of the money actually spent. Like there was a lot of money spent.
Yeah.
You know, those ones, it was like, well, the Fred and Dallo year, I know Fred actually cost like 50 million or something ridiculous to me. But the point being is actually like 50 million plus Dallo, which was what? He was like, what, 15? Something 15, ridiculous.
Yeah, he was relatively low cost.
So 65 million for a summer spend, you go, oh, it's nothing really, like what we're doing there. The pandemic one, like I said, it's almost a bit of a write-off because it's the pandemic and it was madness. Even though that one is crazy because we had money allegedly set aside for Jadon Sancho that we then went, we're going to get Palestri and Ahmad for relatively... Ahmad's a big fee. He was like 40 or something.
Or rising tonight. Probably hasn't hit probably why they never play him because they don't want to pay it.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like I said, this past summer...
But then let's not forget the one where we thought we were going to win the league. When we thought we was going to win the league is when we got Varane, Sancho and Ronaldo in one. We went bloody hell. But then if you look at that window, look at that window now. Was that a good window? We said it was at the time, but Sancho's now playing.
Do we ever have a good window in general? You know?
Actually, this conversation literally just shows us, actually, when we're looking at the windows and then we're looking at the where we currently are at as a result of, and I know Fred was a long time ago, or, you know, Palestri was a long, you know, but when you look at signing for signing and where these players are and where we are, they've all been failures then.
Yeah.
You have to say that because Man United aren't in a good position with all the money spent. So all the windows contribute to the mess. So none of them have been good. You have to say that. You have to say that because we're saying players aren't even here anymore.
Jose's first window, I remember at the time that was wax lyrical because he came out in the press. He was like, I wanted a defender, I wanted a midfielder or 2 midfielders, and I wanted a striker or something like that. And he got Bailly, he got Pogba, he got Mkhitaryan, and he got Ibrahimovic. I remember that season we were like buzzing. We were like, oh, look at that spine.
I was so when Mkhitaryan came, I was so excited.
We just
He's
put
one
a
of the best
spine of
players
the
in
team,
Bundesliga at the time,
and we did win Europa League and Carabao or EFL Cup that season, but we still finished. Was it sixth? Like it was great. You know what I mean?
We haven't challenged for the league since we won it last.
The closest we've ever been in a race might have been like pandemic season where we were actually top of the league for a little bit, wasn't it? Under Ollie, remember that? We were like, oh my God, we're top. What's going on here? Yes. But speaking of transfers, Flex, we've got so much to get into, actually. Joshua Zirkzee. This is another player we've been linked to over the last sort of 24 hours or so. This once again comes from Florian Plettenberg. Says, news, Zirkzee, the 22-year-old striker, is one of the transfer targets for Man United in the summer window. Bosses with a high opinion of his quality and development. This Serie A season, he's got 7 goals and 2 assists. Man United already inquired about a possible transfer now, which is interesting. But Bologna won't let him go. Talks took place. Zirkzee will stay in the winter. He can leave Bologna in the summer. There's a release clause of 40 million euros, which again is quite interesting to suggest that actually United were looking at possibly making the signing now, which is kind of in contrast to anything that's been reported about what the money we do or don't have. But once again, he's 22 from Bologna, striker, used to play for Bayern Munich, but that 40 million euros, that's a summer release clause. So even if we were looking to make a deal now, I guess it could maybe even cost more, but come the summer, you will be available for that price. Does that excite you? Or with Rasmus, do we need someone a bit more older, a bit more experienced?
Yeah, again, it's again talking about where you want to go with it. You know, do you want 2 young strikers, then that's your project and they can bounce off each other and you go in that direction? Or when you get someone as young, as inexperienced and as raw as Rasmus, do you want someone of a similar ilk who's also as raw and doesn't have the experience to lean on each other? And listen, depending on the coaching and the setup of what you want to do, either way can work. You can't just say because they're young, they can't do it. It's more unlikely. But if the system is good and the coaching is good and the environment is good, it's all about the support and having, you know, the amount of players that you need so the load isn't all on one player. And if they're talented and can progress quickly, then it can work. But I probably would prefer us to have someone a little bit more experienced, you know. But, you know, with Ineos doing what they want to do, you know, how young do they want to go? Like you said, do you want us just a whole squad of just youngsters? Do you want to do a Chelsea? Then you really are waiting for quite a long time for stuff to happen because everyone's just young. And the interesting thing about Joshua Zirkzee is that obviously Arsenal, I was looking at some stuff where Arsenal are obviously pushing for him as well, according to reports. But what is fact is he does have a release clause for about 34 million, but it's only valid for Bayern Munich, obviously, because they sent him there. So they've obviously got the buyback right. So sporting director Marco Diao, he said it's only valid for Bayern Munich, that 34 million release price. So Bologna want 50, you know. That's what Arsenal are being quoted as well. So it's definitely not going to be now. The Bologna don't want to let him go. The release clause is only if Bayern want to bring him back in, and they've got a Mr. Harry Kane. So why would they do that?
Well, that's why Florian Plettenberg's reported about it as well, because he's keeping tabs on what is essentially a Bayern Munich target and a Bayern Munich ex-Bayern Munich player. So once again, this is a funny one because Joshua Zirkzee is one of those names, isn't he? That for years. And he's young still.
And he's young.
But like, he's one of those names, I swear, that we've just heard for years. Not like linked to United, but like, I'll tell you what, in a couple of years' time, he's going to be
only 22.
Big time goal scorer across Europe. You know, like you said, come through Bayern and all that kind of stuff, come through the second team. You look at his goal scoring records. It's not amazing, but he's young, you know. His best goal scoring season actually was at Anderlecht on loan. That was a couple of years ago. This season, like I said, at Bologna, got 8 goals, 16 games. So maybe Bayern actually think, oh, right now,
47 and 8 for Anderlecht.
Yeah,
not bad.
Maybe he's starting to 18, think, like, you know, maybe he's, you know, starting to really kick on now, and maybe they will bring him back. Like you say, if they've got that clause in there that they can bring him back, or the buyback clause at any point, then it could just be a territory of going, oh, do United even bother getting involved in this? But when it comes to like the sort of younger strikers versus like the older strikers, is that actually important, or is it more based on like chances and quality?
Yeah, it's all everything. I don't think it's just easy to say.
We made chances. Would it really matter?
Do it. Exactly. Like if they're good, they're good. Like the whole squad can't be it. And yes, we've got an exceptionally young striker, Rasmus Højlund, who's only 20 years of age. I think he's 21 soon. so we do have a very young striker now, and I think if you just get an equally as young striker who's equally as inexperienced and is struggling a bit, will start, and more importantly, there's a big outlay on that new striker again. You are into the territory of why are we not getting someone who's a bit more ready-made, or what? With a striker, why are we not getting a 25, 26-year-old who's either in his prime, bang at it, ready to go, or someone sort of back end of his prime, 28, 29, going into, that could happen if you've got Rasmus there. But essentially, like you said, if you get another exciting, good player who's happens to just be 22, 23, 22 is what Zirkzee is. If you happen to get him, you can't turn down quality. It's down to the manager and the coaching staff to get the best out of top quality players, because let some of these young players go to City. Let some of these young players go to Liverpool. Let some of them go to Arsenal and see what they do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I know that as the saying goes, you never win anything with kids. The famous, what was that, the Alan Hansen, isn't it? But, we've obviously disproved that many a times. And I think if you look, I think there's enough cases of young players coming to the forefront at the big clubs in the Premier League. All the clubs doing better than us have young players playing. Do you know what I mean? In some capacity, mixed with experience, of course, which is what we're saying. We need some experience. But no, I don't think we should definitely not get anyone who's too young. We just shouldn't be paying. My thing is just don't pay the stupid money. For players, whether they're old, whether they're
like Højlund.
prime,
Højlund's like if we sign Højlund for 40 million euros, you'd be like, well, didn't cost that much. He's he's rough around the edges. We can sort of build him up, and that's really. I remember you said it on the Flex and KG show the other day. You said he's about a 40 million pound player, probably. Problem is we signed him for like nearly double.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We've been on top of it, and that puts pressure on him, and we don't have many other options up front. Still, realistically, if you signed him for 40. Then you could have been like, right, we still got some money to play around with. Let's get another striker in. Suddenly we've got options. Now, like we said.
And we need wingers as well.
Yeah, wouldn't have fixed everything. Because like you say, like we need wingers. Like we don't create enough chances. So it doesn't help. But it would be useful at points this season, at least to have other options, which we don't have.
What do you think we need? If I know it sounds mad because when people we were talking about the Tottenham performance and KG's like, yeah, but patience and players in. I'm going, but at the end of the day, that's most our starting team, bro. Like Martinez comes in for Evans, Casemiro comes in for Eriksen. But let's be real, last year it was Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno, which was our starting best thing. So let's not act like that wasn't the thing. Between Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, one of them always starts. It's slim pickings. And then out of Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund, that's the best we've got. So what? And Onana's our starting new keeper. So what? Do you know what I mean? We have to undo a lot.
Yeah, again, we have to absolutely undo a lot. Well, Amanol with the super chat says, "Believe Africa, Ineos, Araujo, and Benzema." Saying we need Karim Benzema.
On that note,
but as for what we need,
and look, how would you undo it all?
This is when you get into the territory of some of the criticism of Erik ten Hag, because some people will be like, "Well, you've got to get more out of what you've got there," and some people, and I know that then the reaction is, "Well, some of them are just not good enough and they need to go." I totally agree with that. And it's not to give like a blind pass to the players or what have you. If you're looking at summer transfer targets, we need another striker, which I think we'll get. We might even get another striker in this transfer window on loan. We need another striker because Martial's going to go. I think we're still looking, ironically enough, towards a right winger again.
100%.
Again.
Yes, I agree.
And look, that's like 2/3 of an attack, right? That might make a difference.
I think we need another attacking midfielder too.
But the problem is, and this is when, again, like you said, this is when I know what the reaction is going to be because you criticize the manager. But part of the problem too is tactical. Like the way we're set up right now doesn't work. And even if we got certain other players in, would it still work, that system? I don't know. Particularly the midfield. The midfield is all wrong. I'm not sure any player coming in can fix that in terms of those gaps, how wide that is. Like I said, unless you can go in a time machine, let's get in the TARDIS Flex and go find N'Golo Kante when he's 20 and sign him and be like, you've got to play for us for like the next, 15 years or something like that. He's the only one that could do that. I mean, cover that amount of ground, those amounts of spaces. Yeah. So I think it's a hybrid of players, like I said, right winger, striker, like you say, maybe another.
Mike says, midfielder. So you're saying Erik ten Hag out?
This is exactly what I'm saying, obviously.
Because he can't fix it. His tactics won't change it no matter who we buy. So you're saying get rid of him.
This is when you get into the territory of this season, because I think he's already compromised how he wants to play anyway. I would look at him and say, Eric, compromise it even further then. Shore yourself up. You know, that whatever you're doing at the moment, it ain't working, you know. And I think it's naive to assume that, you know, Casemiro coming in and Ligt coming back in will play better. But those sort of more fundamental issues of that tactical system are not going to be fixed with them coming in.
I think we'll still play the same shit football when they're back. The only difference will be is that there'll be a couple more passes into midfield from Ligt because he does that. He even did it.
His build-up play will be better, obviously. Absolutely. But Casemiro will still struggle to close the gaps that he covered. He struggled to cover
get run past.
Season.
He'll still do the mad tackles where he's jumping in and then the people are running around him. He'll still do the mad passes where who's that to? What's going on here? He's not press resistant. He's not dictating play. Oh, there's time and space, so he's hit that out to that side. He's hit that out to that side. Might score a couple, but we'll still see the same deficiencies, I think. Personally.
But also the counter problem is to that is you look at like, you know, Rashford, you look at even to an extent Bruno, but you look at some of those players that have been at United for a while now. Like, what system do they work in?
Well, they're the ones. They're the ones you look at as well. So I'm comfortable. Rashford, Bruno, and stuff like that. It's time to move on. Maybe.
What system do they work in? How would you describe Marcus Rashford as a player?
Hot and cold, and
but no, said like someone said like describe. You know what he does. Like when we talk about transfers and signings, you go, this guy, you know, he's an aggressive player, wants to, you know, wants to win balls, wants to work it into the box, wants to get to the byline, wants to go past players. Like, how would you describe Marcus Rashford as a player?
I have to describe him in his best form then, because if I just do it overall, I'm going to say it's somebody who does possess pace and can be direct when he doesn't think, and can be quite devastating on the last line of defense. But actually, you're not probably going to get that most of the time because he's too inconsistent. And then he can go off and sulk, and then he probably won't work hard for you. That's just being honest. But if I talk about the good things in his game, it's too easy just to say he's crap. Like, he's got good bits of his game, but I would. It's not a selling point because it's the opposite of that. It's an analysis. In my breakdown, in my dossier, I would say this player possesses good attributes that if he honed in on them and was part of a good setup that got the best out of him and he got the best out of himself mentality-wise, he could be really impactful. But there is a ceiling that he isn't above that we shouldn't put him on because he's not that good.
I would describe him as, I would say, what type of winger is he? I would go, he's direct, but to the detriment of himself, basically. Like, he's so direct in that he'll get the ball at his feet and he's not, most of the time, not really thinking about like overlapping runs or getting the ball into his box to his teammates. He's not really thinking about the pass that often. He's more so thinking about how can I try and go past this player or players, plural, and get a shot away, even if it's not there, even if I don't know where it is. I'm going to try and cut inside and go past people somehow. I'm going to try and force it, go past them. And then try and sort of smash the ball, sort of knuckleball it. Like that is the Marcus Rashford attack.
You're not playing with a lot of guile, basically.
No, like I said, in a tactical system, unless like the tactic is get it to Rashford and he'll score, like last season. But if it's a bit more, like you said, a bit more guile, a bit more creativity, a bit more nuance to it,
a bit more patience in your build-up.
I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if he can do that. You know,
a lot of people saying that he's more of an athlete than football. You know, he is. He keeps himself in great shape. He's quick. He's got good stature. He's athletic. He's direct. And like I said, in his best version on the last line, when he's at his peak, at his best, he can be devastating. I'm not going to just write him off and say like he can't be devastating in moments. But it's the key is what people are saying. It's moments. You know that Marcus Rashford ain't going to be devastating for a whole season. Like even last year, obviously he scored all those goals, but we said they were in a condensed period, or that was one of his best seasons in a it was his best season. But all the seasons prior to that, I think he had one other like really good one under Oli when him and Martial were both good at the same time. After we let Lukaku go and Sanchez, I think it was. And then it was the emergence of Mason Greenwood at the time. I feel like you always know that with Rashford, out of let's say every 5 seasons, they'd have 3 bad ones and 2 good ones. Do you know what I mean? It's just inconsistent.
And again, this goes back to the point we were making before. You know, it's a hybrid. Like the problem at United, it's a hybrid at the moment. Yes, like a lot of these players, they're not good enough. They don't fit. Well, the current system, I don't know really what the current system is. But even if you were to switch to even like an Ange, because he's played out the weekend, like would Rashford fit into that? Oof, I don't know. You know, Bruno, like. Could he?
But
be
you never know
patient?
though, because
it could
because
adapt,
you know why? Do you know why you
asked
never
these
know?
players to adapt to these different systems,
we have.
and they haven't.
We have. But when you see
Eric's not playing his
players,
football because of it.
Well, 100%. But when you see crap shit players like Skip and Højbjerg be able to play in a system and move the ball, is Skip better than Bruno Fernandes? No, he's not. Is Højbjerg better than Bruno Fernandes?
But will they follow sort of tactical instruction more?
Well, this is what I'm saying. It depends, because that's what I'm saying. It's not about the ability. Because if it was about that, hands down, Oliver Skip can't lace Bruno's boots. But for the job that Ange wanted him to do and how disciplined he wanted him to be to do it, is it better having someone who doesn't have as much star quality in your team who's going to follow the instructions? But then you take it down a notch to say, right, we'll take the quality out, and then you say someone like McTominay, always available for a manager. He's a professional.
He can't follow
instructions. He runs around, but then
he
can't do that either.
But he can't do it. Obviously,
so it's not always about. And this is the pushback. What I was doing about, how do you explain then someone like Skip and Højbjerg playing like that versus Eriksen, Bruno, and obviously Kobe's young, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus, not at all. But how do you explain it? And it's all to do with the manager, and it's all to do with how do you explain Ben Davies and Emerson Royal being able to play centre back? How? And do it well and play their system and be on the front foot.
Maybe once again that goes back into that clearly they're at the point right now where everyone in that Spurs squad, they're bought in. They believe what the manager's saying. They believe in what the coaches are doing.
But these are also players though that aren't going to be part of and just long-term thing. You don't want Ben Davies having to play centre-back, does he? That's why he's just gone and gone to Dragerson. He needs more. But right now, I'm going to use my skills, my interpersonal skills and coaches to get him to get him to do it for me.
But they want to because they're like, maybe Spurs may be a bit on the rise. Well, I like this manager. I want to play for this guy, And we know, again, this is where it goes back to, it's a bit of both, that those players historically, they just don't do that at United. They don't care. They like Ralph Rangnick goes run. They go, you're not going to be here that long. So screw you. We're not running. We're not doing nothing, And then you get into the thing of, okay, from the manager's point of view, how can you be more inspiring to these players? How can you, or from a club's point of view, how do we get across to these players? It doesn't matter if you don't like the manager. He's sticking around. Like, all of it, there are so many, as I've said, so many single points of failure when it comes to United. It's crazy. Oh my God, flex.
Hold on. Wow. Lil Yo-Yo, he's done it again.
There's quite a few super chats anyway, Flex. So
we got to address this. Yeah. Akil says, we are not in Europe, not getting any top players. Akil also says, let us know the replacement and which system works for these players. So we want to get a manager who wants to make these players work. Okay, basically saying these players are still crap. Got to change them anyway. Red Baron says, Rashford's celebration shows they are trying to prove their critics wrong. It comes across that social media is negatively affecting his game. Red Baron also says, Ricky said it many times, we look better without Rashford and Bruno. They lose possession and kills momentum. Ricky's been saying that since day dot, to be fair.
I thought Rashford was just trying to prove critics wrong.
Yeah, exactly. No, but he says that he didn't say he's agreed. I think he's just saying it just shows that Rashford's rattled by it, I think. Yeah. Nubian Pharaoh says, I used to think that Marcus had the United DNA for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Alas, I'm wrong. And that is a £200 super chat as well from Nubian Pharaoh. And when Nubian Pharaoh comes, Pharaoh comes big. Yeah, we listen. Yeah, it's insane support for the channel, as is every single super chat. Red Baron with £5 as well, and other contributions in different currencies. Amanor with a couple of quid, always in there. All of those contributions that you guys just decide to make out of the generosity of your heart just helps the channel. So we really, really appreciate it. Not just when we get, massive red ones from Nubian Pharaoh, but from everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? And like I said yesterday, on yesterday's stream, it was it was kicking off when it was in the morning with me and Owen. There was a lot to talk about. Even in the comments, just you guys being here and liking the video and engaging and dropping comments after the video's finished. All that engagement helps the algorithm, which all in turn helps the channel. So we appreciate it all. And actually on likes, we're at 173, just under 1,000 people watching live as well. So if we can push that up to 200 minimum, guys, I believe in you. But big shout out to Nubian Pharaoh as always, bro. Hope you're having a good day. And thank you for the contribution. Nathan Joseph, been a member for 12 months. Obviously, you got your UV members club as well. A lot of people been in there a really long time. And Nathan says, this is my issue with Erik ten Hag. If you can't get an extra 10 to 20% out of your players, can you be considered a top coach? You have to do more with what he has, because other people are doing that. Have I missed another membership chat as well? I think I've just read that. I think I just read that, Lil Yo. Thanks for looking out. Unless I've missed it. No, Nathan Joseph is the only member there. And also, while I've got you, just before we carry on the conversation, we need to talk about Sir Jim as well. And there was a bit of a statement from Must as well about how it went with his meeting. The video is brought to you by Crack Soli. A couple of people have been putting it in the chat. Listen, big Alfredo out there in LA doing really, really well with his brand Crack Soli. Big football brand. They've got players in the MLS and college wearing their merch and their gears. They're coming over to Europe. I love their stuff. Their hoodies, the tracksuits, wash bags, backpacks, puffer jackets. They've got stuff for the hot, because he's based in LA, so they show off. They've got the T-shirts and stuff like that and the shorts. But they cater for us here in Europe as well when it's absolutely freezing. So big up to Crack Soli. A lot of stuff happening with them over the next few months. Just on the Sir Jim thing, Owen, we'll skip the Ligt thing a little. Well, just do a line on the Ligt thing. Really
quickly. So very quickly on the Ligt thing. So again, this came from Florian Plettenberg saying that a move in the summer is not out of the question for Matthias de Ligt at Bayern Munich. Erik ten Hag is very interested in signing him. If ten Hag remains manager at Man United beyond the summer, which is an interesting line in itself, it is likely that de Ligt could become a top target. So they're sort of saying that de Ligt, maybe, I think there is an expectation he's probably going to go. He's not, Thomas Tuchel isn't the biggest fan of him, apparently. So that's certainly something to watch. When it comes to Sir Jim Ratcliffe,
go on.
This was put out yesterday by Manchester United, saying that Sir Jim Ratcliffe met fan representatives and local community leaders in Manchester on Monday. Sir Jim met members of the club's fan advisory board and leaders of the independent Man United Supporters Trust at Old Trafford to introduce himself and hear fans' perspective. He also held a video meeting with the club's larger fans forum. Later, he met a range of local civic leaders from Trafford and Greater Manchester to discuss United's role in the local community and, I guess a key part here, the potential redevelopment of Old Trafford, which again is quite interesting. As you mentioned, Flex, Must also released a statement, which I don't have to hand right now. Do you have it in front of you?
I will just grab it in 2 seconds because I was reading it not long ago. Just going to grab it. Must. Let's go.
Well, whilst you find it, we've got a couple more super chats I can
read those and I've got it.
So N248 says, can't do another season with Onana. Thoughts, please? Well, I'm going to not have him for a couple of weeks because he's got AFCON. Didn't play yesterday. And Nem Green's been a member for 3 months. Says, after the Beckham documentary, I don't want to hear this weak mentality of Rashford and others. Big up to UV. Great job. Ineos, I hope, gets players who can handle the pressure.
There you go. I have got the Must publication up from what they put. They've also put it in like a thread of tweets if you don't want to click onto the actual article, but this is what they've written up on their website. Must meeting with Sir Jim Ratcliffe today, and this was obviously yesterday. We are pleased to report that today members of the Must board held our first bilateral meeting with Sir Jim to discuss his plans for the club. Sir Jim was accompanied by Sir Dave Brailsford, Jean-Claude Blanc, and senior club officials, and we had more than an hour's discussion about where the club is at and what needs to happen to restore United back to the top. Goes on to say, first things first, it was very refreshing that he was even willing to have the conversation at this early stage. Remember, the deal was yet to receive Premier League approval, and nor has he bought the non-Glazer owned shares or invested the 300 million in new shares yet. All of these things are expected in the next couple of months, and until then, he is constrained by stock market rules on what he can say. Nevertheless, we felt he was open as he could be within those rules. His main message was that everything at United needs to be ruthlessly focused on creating winning teams on the field, something we are sure all fans agree on. He also expressed the view that he views our club as a community asset and stressed that his purpose is taking a share in taking a share in United is not to make money. We were able to set out to Sir Jim what we think the key priorities are. A clear plan to get back to the top, putting in place a football structure with the right people in the right roles, an investment plan in both the teams and the stadium, and building a genuine and strong partnership with fans that supports success. The last part says, we hope today's discussion is the start of an ongoing dialogue, both with Sir Jim and his team. We all know the journey back for our club is not a short one, and the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. Yeah, definitely agree with that. But most fans agree that the signals Ineos has sent in the last few weeks are encouraging. Continuing the dialogue on your behalf to promote supporters' interest is number one priority for Must in the months and years ahead.
Well, look, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think every United fan, or most certainly, are of the mindset, isn't it? Of, you know, like they said, it's the proof will be in the pudding, and we'll see. Words are great, but we'll see. It is refreshing, to say the least, because you don't hear anything from anyone that's got a stake in United, do you? Particularly with the Glazers. I mean, even when he spoke to the media informally on Sunday at Old Trafford, he was in the press room, wouldn't he? And he had like an informal press conference with some of the journalists there. And you thought, wow, that's new.
He's visible. He's present.
That's new. That's present. And but you also have to be, and this is the cynic in me, you do have to be cognizant that the Glazers must be loving it, because they must be like, great. There's this guy. He's given us some cash. He's the face of, you know, United at this point. Like, he can do these, meet with these people. He can do these sort of must meetings. He can speak in the press room. He can sit next to Sir Alex at Old Trafford. We're still in control. We still got the majority control here. So whilst that's still going on, that still is like, well, and they talk about things that you sort of hamstrung thereby with, you know, stock market rules and regulations and what have you. But he's still going to have the ultimate hamstring problem, isn't he? Which is the Glazers still have majority control. He's the largest majority shareholder, single majority shareholder, but the Glazers still have majority control. So that is still something that is like looming. But having those kind of conversations, hearing those things is good. But look, I know it's not what everyone wants to hear, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'm still very skeptical about not him, but just the whole thing, how that's going to work.
Yeah, 100%. I saw a comment there from Andre sort of saying he's got some strong views on Must, and some people do, but saying surprising that Flex is tap dancing for them, etc., etc. At the end of the day, I just think it's not about tap dancing. It's about bringing you a significant meeting that was held that was about our club by the guy who's just put a significant investment into it, and bringing you guys that news. It's not me tap dancing for Must. It's literally Must, whether we like it or not, whether you buy into what Must do or stand for, or their workings. They are the official Manchester United Supporters Trust. That's what they are. They have a big line into the club. I'm not getting into whether you think they do a good job of that or not and all the semantics around it, but they had a meeting with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and it was important for us to see what those findings were. What you take from that is up to you, but that's important as a fan channel and significant as a fan channel to acknowledge that, I think. Personally,
I always said in the Man United statement yesterday, wasn't it, that was one of the people that they one of the people he had meetings with, one of the groups he had because it must be stressed, it wasn't just them that he had meetings with yesterday.
Yeah,
it
was loads of
quite a few people.
And like Makish says there, can Flex even tap dance is the question. Exactly. I am no Michael Flatley. I cannot.
I've seen you dance though a couple of times.
But not tap dancing.
Not tap dance, but I've seen you can dance.
I can dance. Definitely dance.
Particularly in comparison to me, you know.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about your dancing or lack of. You know what I'm saying?
We've never seen it. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean. Lack of. N248 says can't do another season with an. Oh no, you said that one. Did you say Nem Green as well?
Yes.
And BJ?
No.
Okay. BJ says it just feels like you can't coach these players at all. It works for a little amount of time, and then they turn their back to old habits, which is why a lot of people say, like, just forget these players, sell them all. WJ Barrett says, I think Eric Ten Hag is done. WJ Barrett has been really strong recently, but he's always involved in the channel, always in the comments.
It's moved. The feeling's moved, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been Eric Ten Hag out for a little while. But he says, I think Eric Ten Hag is done. From he changed his philosophy to not Ajax. It's done. We are not going to change. And with Casemiro Martinez back, we're done.
Oh.
So, yeah, interesting.
Even the microphone went, whoa.
I know. Microphone nearly fell over. Microphone went bloody hell. He said,
whoa.
Eric Ten Hag out. Oh, it's fallen over, mate. It's fallen over. Yeah, bloody hell. There was just a quick line as well, just from TalkSport. It's probably going to be Alex Crook. I haven't clicked it, but it probably is. Just talking about Jared Brandthwaite's high on Sir Jim Ratcliffe's summer transfer list. Everton faced being forced to sell him in the summer to avoid running into further financial issues. I think players or teams like Forest and maybe Everton and even Newcastle, I was doing a piece on them on Sky, the complexities around them maybe having to,
and they've got to get rid of a big player, didn't they?
Yeah, at least, or basically every player has their price. So if if the right money coming for one of them, they'd have to look at it. So yeah, we'll see. There's certainly a lot of like Owen said earlier, like the list that's been drawn up is.
It doesn't matter when it comes to Newcastle Flex. Their new manager will be Jose Mourinho. That's my prediction.
Oh yeah, because he just left Roma, isn't he?
That's my prediction.
But would that be? I mean, would he be right to go there now? Would he? Don't know.
He's going to be. I mean, some people are saying Portugal in the summer, which I could see, considering that if they do badly in the Euros, maybe Martinez gets sacked, even though he's just got the job. But I suppose if Jose comes a call in, but I think Jose's going to go Newcastle. It's
the most obvious thing.
It's a perfect Jose job. Spend a shit ton of money.
But he can't even spend a shit ton though.
Well, that's true.
Imagine Jose under the FFP moat, like saying, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that."
He just the thing is, he's got this weird thing about him as well, because like I was explaining earlier on, like he actually hasn't done well at Roma. Like if you
he won in the
he hasn't done well. He's got like a load of. I think Roma got FFP problems as well. Like they spent money. They got like Lukaku. They got Bala, they got Tammy Abraham, they got players, a lot of players. And I think their anticipation was minimum they were going to be in the Champions League and then competing for Serie A. They're ninth.
No, yeah, it has not happened at all. Yeah, they are. They are ninth, and look, 1 win in 5 as well, like us, to be honest. But yeah, not great. 29 points. Again, what are we on? 31 points? They're bloody not far off the same amount of points returned after 20 games as us.
And I tell you what as well, Flex.
People are sacking their managers.
It's third season Jose again, isn't it? You know what I mean? Third season Jose.
Yeah,
first season, but they won a trophy. Second season, I mean, it was they still finished 6th, which is the same, but they got Europa League final. So you go, well, that could be the one into the Champions League. Third season, everything goes to pieces,
Yeah.
9th.
That's it.
Gone.
Like I said when Jose was, I think I said it on TalkSport one time. I might have to dig that clip up. When I said he's just done at the top level, and he's been brilliant. He's such a character, and even now he still says mad stuff, and he's still entertainment, still box office.
Sent off all the time,
all the time, all the time. It's just
that's the way of keeping updated with what Jose was doing in Italy. By the way, is occasionally on Twitter, Jose got sent off, and you go, okay. Remember the one? Which was it his first or second season where he was sent off, but he was then behind a fence screaming at the pitch behind this fence, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's just taking it into his own hat. Like he's just in his own thing now, isn't it? As Jose, I think he's just winding down. Not winding down because he's still fairly young as a manager. If you get him, he's not like a Roy Hodgson age, but I mean like. He's just done so much, and I just don't think he's going to be back at that top level. But you know what I mean. So
I was glad for him when he won the Conference League, and he was getting.
He's still a winner.
I was glad for him because I thought fair play. You know what I mean? You won a trophy again because he hadn't won one in a little bit, and people were like, oh, can he still do it after the Spurs thing? And he did. And it was shocking to see him lose the Europa League final last season because it was like that's what Jose does, gets the final, he's win. But I'd like to see him back in the Prem.
Could he get a trophy? Could he get them an FA Cup, Carabao Cup? Didn't they want their first trophy in however many odd years? Could he be a good short-term thing for them?
Winning a trophy is hard in England, isn't it? No, I mean, it is. It's really hard. Like, I mean, even us, because it can't be overstated. Like, I know people can put down the Carabao Cup for us last season, but it's
we had an easy run.
It's luck of the draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of it, but. If it's not luck of the draw, you're going to have to face some really good teams and do a job on them. You know what I mean? Which Jose can do, but would Newcastle go for that? The fans, would they go for that? Or because they'll be in the Spurs territory when they're like, we don't care if the football's shit as long as we win. If we can win a trophy, because that's what Spurs were like. They were like, well, it's not going to be great, but if we can win a trophy, who cares? And the irony of ironies, the most Spurs thing to do, they have a chance to win a trophy. sack him before the final.
I know. It's the most Spurs thing to do, really, isn't it? To do that. Like, why did they do that? Okay, guys, smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for everyone getting involved in the chat and the comments. We've got the Flex and KG show coming up later on tonight at 6, so wait out for that. I think we got FIFA. I mean, KG might be a bit busy today, but maybe we'll do something else, but potentially some FIFA as well, around midday / 1 p.m, etc, etc, but keep an eye out for that. Also, head over to KG's channel. In 10 minutes he's live. KG's reckless thoughts today is, would you do it? Karim Benzema on the front.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere. You'll be redirected. Yeah. You'll be straight to that. I just saw that as well. Talking about Karim Benzema as well.
Yes. Yeah. I tell you what, go onto KG's chat and put what should we set them up to put? Thumbs down?
It's got to be something there that
the
he
bald
has
head. The Eric Ten Hag head.
That he has no idea about. Yeah. And he's like, why are people doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even a word, like a funny word that is like so abstract and random that he'd be like, what is that?
Someone think of a word quickly. I want to go spam his chat.
Yeah.
Because there's 800 of you here.
That would be like, why are people saying this?
Because he would just be like, what's going on? Maybe like make him think he's not, like his thing's not working. Is this live? Live question mark? Everyone just put live question mark. Here you go, live. Why is it live? What do you mean? I haven't started yet. What? Just put live question mark. Put that. So then I think you get flustered.
Just put live question mark.
Yeah,
or no, Red Baron, mute. That's the good one. Just keep saying mute.
Yeah,
mute.
Everyone just put mute.
Go in there and just say mute over and over and over again. Say that.
Please, I'm going to check his thing now and see if everyone's doing it.
Couple of super chats though before we wrap things up. Nem Green says, if Eric Ten Hag left, who would you want? For me, Deschamps. Oh god. And Red Baron says, Cam is correct in his fan view flex. It's the boring answer, but it was apparent from pre-season. The players aren't fit, trying but not executing. So there you go.
Okay, there you go. All right, guys, we'll see you again very, very soon. Later on today, we're out of it. Go over to KG. Remember, the word is mute. Keep putting it in his chat. Peace.